Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. This episode of Welcome Home is brought to you by DVC Rental Store. Thank you for joining us on episode 347 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom and here with Trevor. How's it going, Trevor?
Hey, pretty good.
I'm back.
Yeah, you're back. And you know, I know you're sick, Tom, but because you have a bit of a cold, it actually gives you a little bit more of that announcer voice.
It's funny you say that because Karen, my wife, has been saying to me all day, she's like, ooh, you're bassy today. I'm like, yes, perfect for the podcast. Yeah, like, I mean, because, you know, Trevor's usually got the good voice here and I got like the whiny voice. But yeah, I'm a little deeper today.
Yeah.
And that's kind of nice. Yeah. So I did bring home, one souvenir from my trip, and that was a cold. You know, when you're on a ship with thousands of other people, this is a thing that will happen. Although, for whatever reason, I'm the only one in my entire party who got sick. Somehow, my wife and daughter avoided it, and our travel companions avoided it as well. What are you going to do? It is what it is. But partly because I'm sick, Trevor. But not really. I mean, I'll look for any opportunity to do things like this with my wife. But we do. I did bring a special guest with me, and that is my wife Karen, who obviously came on the trip with us. I hope so. And has a better memory than me. But also just she can offer a little bit of a different perspective. But she's claiming, Trevor, she's never been on the show, and I don't think that's true. I think she has, but I think it's been a long time.
I think I recall there was a point where I believe you were on the show, Karen. By the way, welcome to the show, Karen.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you were on the show. I'm pretty sure it was an episode that I missed, because I know that there was one point where you and Karen did a show because you needed to have somebody on the show, and I wasn't able to attend.
That sounds right.
This was like years ago, but
yeah, it was a long time ago.
Actually entertaining?
Was it actually entertaining? I mean, literally,
I don't remember.
I would hope so. I mean, literally, all you and our daughter do is spend your time roasting and trashing me. So
that is true.
Yeah, that's all they do is give me a hard time. So, which I'm sure there'll be plenty of in this episode.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
So I'm looking forward to this recounting of your recent adventures.
So for those that don't know, and I don't know, Trevor, if there's anything you want to talk about before we
let's
right into this.
Let's get right into this. Yeah,
I
want to hear what happened. Yeah.
Okay. So for those that don't know, we took a nice little vacation here, and this was a last minute cruise that we had booked on the Disney Fantasy. Is a 5-night cruise. So it's 5 nights and I guess 6 days or whatever. They don't really measure it by days; it's by nights. So it's 5 nights. Out of Port Canaveral, going to Nassau, Bahamas, and then the 2 private islands. Disney's 2 private islands.
Mm-hmm.
After the cruise is over, we also had booked a 2-bedroom villa at Disney's Vero Beach Resort, which is about an hour and a half from Port Canaveral drive, which is great. And it was a lot of fun to drive there. We'll get into that, but so that was what this trip was. We got back yesterday. Took us 13 hours to drive home yesterday.
Whoa.
It was really rough.
Yeah.
I bet.
It was a rough one. So, and of course I'm dealing with a cold, right? And I'm surprised Karen didn't record me going to various fits of road rage while we were, because they were my wife and daughter in the back seat just laughing at me road raging.
I mean, it was pretty entertaining, I will say, and we were getting a little slap happy at the end of it with 2 hours left. And keep in mind, we had our dog with us as well, who decided that he needed to sit on my lap for the last 2.5 hours.
Now, given he's 10 pounds, so it's not like, don't act like he's like a 50-pound dog. I mean, he's 10 pounds,
he's a tiny little man.
Yeah.
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 Still, though, when my dog does the same thing where it's like you cannot get physical space between you and them, even when you're like, leave me alone, you're annoying me. Yeah.
I'm actually surprised he's not with me right now, to be honest.
Aw.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, so let's just start at the beginning. So, we drove down, of course, and I have talked about this many times on the show, right? My mom lives about an hour and a half outside of or about a little over 2 hours outside of Port Canaveral, right? So and about an hour and a half from Disney, right? So whenever we do anything Disney related or cruise related, we go to my mom's, right? We go to my mom's first, and then we drive, we go the day before, we stay overnight, we drive the next day. So we did that. The funny thing is, Trevor, the drive down, totally uneventful. Like, didn't hit traffic once. Couldn't, except the only problem was the dog was more of a pain that the way down than the way back. But the dog was being, I don't know, all sorts of anxious and crazy. He's old and he gets a little anxious.
Yeah. Right, I mean, that's fine. And, like you said, having uneventful travel to wherever you're going, I think is better than starting off a trip with things going wrong.
I would totally agree.
Yeah,
exactly. So that was, it was a good way to start, right? Definitely a good way to start. So we got up bright and early on Friday morning, and when did we leave, Karen? Like 8:30, something like that.
It probably 8 or 8:30. Yeah.
Yeah. So we left 8:30. And I had a whole scheme, Trevor, and I've talked about this on the show, right? The big thing going into this trip was we booked last minute. So we had the late dinner seating, which is 8:15. Now, we had, my daughter who's 7, her best friend who's 7, and then her brother, her best friend's brother who's 5, right? Those kids are not staying up till 8:15 for dinner. Like, it's just,
especially with a full day of activities. There's no way.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not even like staying at home doing nothing. Yeah. Kids will, they'll crash hard.
Yeah. My daughter goes to bed at 7 o'clock normally. Right. Like, so
right.
8:15 is just out of the question. So my plan was get there early, see if we can get on the ship before our boarding time, which was 12:15. And go directly to there's a place where they set up, where the managers set up on the ship, where you go and you can ask for a change if you don't get it, if you don't get the wait list. And Trevor, I don't know if you were going to ask a question before I said
no. Keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got there probably 10:45. The weirdest thing though, it was dead. Like, dead. Like, when we went there for the treasure, Trevor, the terminal was bananas. It was like it was like going to the airport like on Christmas Eve. Right, Karen? I mean, I'm not exaggerating that. It was,
no, you're not. It literally we didn't even have to wait. We pulled right up. They grabbed our luggage and we were able to legitimately stand there and get online and get ready to go in.
Yeah, like immediately, which when we did the treasure last year, it took us 20 to 30 minutes just to get to the place to drop our bags off.
Easily.
Easily. Just sitting in traffic trying to get there. So we pull up and I look and I'm like, why? There's nobody standing in line. There's no cars in front of us. Like, are we in the right place? Like, because this is weird. But no, I mean, we were. And, that was fine. So, and Karen, please just jump in if you have anything to add to this. I know I talk a lot. So.
You? No.
Yeah, I know. Shush.
I'm just going to enjoy this back and forth between the two of you.
Yeah, you are.
We've been together nonstop for almost 2 weeks, so she's tired of me.
I'm ready for him to go back to the office on Tuesday, so I get some time to myself.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But so we get unloaded, we get in line, and Karen tries to sweet talk a cast member to get us in early, but the cast member's like,
"Oh, I tried so hard."
You did, right? But we didn't need it because and that's what the cast member said to her. She was like, listen, we're going to be letting everybody, you guys are going to get in early anyway, which she kind of Karen, she kind of insinuated that the cruise wasn't full, right? That was...
Yes, she did. But what's interesting about that, though, is that our friend who was with us ended up having to go to guest services, and it actually had a sticker up there that said the cruise was full. So I'm not really sure.
I'm not really sure.
But we definitely had a really good time in line, though. We met some amazing Canadians.
Yeah, I was going there next. So Karen, I'll let you add all sorts of flavor to this. I just want to get to how we got to here. So I'm just standing in line, and I'm not the person to talk to people in line. Karen knows this. I don't generally socialize with people in line. That's just kind of
small talk is not his thing.
Not a thing I like to.
Yeah, I know. Right? I know that too. I've gone around Disney with you.
I'm not a small talk person. I'm just not, right. So like I avoid it. But I'm standing there, and there's a family of 4 behind us, and they're wearing black shirts with the Canadian flag on them with Mickey Mouse in the middle. And I'm looking at them, and I'm like, I got to take a picture of this and send it to Trevor. Like, I mean, right? And I did send it to you.
Yep.
And, so we start talking to them, and it turns out, Kara, they were from
Halifax.
That's right.
Oh, okay. Far east side of Canada. Yeah.
Yep.
But some of the legitimate nicest people, we talked to them for quite a while. They were even engaging with our daughter. It actually made the time go really fast. It was really kind of nice.
It was. And then at the end, they gave us what was the card? They gave us a card with 3 pins in it, Trevor, that had a pin of the Canadian flag, a pin of the province, and then a pin of the city. Right?
Oh, nice.
Yep. And they specifically said that they give that to people when they're on the cruise. They obviously made them up ahead of time, and they give them to people that are just like very kind, mostly crew members though. So, but they told us though that we were just so kind. I complimented how nice they were, and how we joked that we wanted to move to Calgary with you guys, and and how much we just love the idea of Canada. And we were telling them about our next trip coming up too, and how we're going to visit you. And all of a sudden, we were waiting in line for security, and they tapped us on the shoulder. And I mean, we probably talked to them for a good 20, 25 minutes.
We talked to them for a while. Yeah, for sure. And we just were kind of talking about, DVC stuff. We were talking about other cruises. Like, they had been on the Fantasy before, so they were,
I think they had been on it like 3 or 4 times.
Like 3 times.
Actually.
Yeah. But they were literally the nicest. They were so nice. And it was just, honestly though, like when you're in a situation like being on a Disney cruise, or even being in the parks, you tend to find like-minded people like that, just because if you're already doing that activity in the first place, you already share one thing. You know what I mean? It's like you already have a...
you're in line for the same thing, so that's already common ground.
Exactly. Exactly. You already have that common ground, and you already have that kind of fandom thing, and so that was cool. But yeah, so we get on the. Is anything else with the Canadians? The funny thing was, I mean, we you expect to see the same people on vacation, especially on like a cruise ship, and that was true. We did run into a lot of the same people repeatedly, just not them.
It was so weird how we didn't see them again.
We saw them. Maybe they went to the Canadian club on
the secret Canadian concierge club.
I'll tell you guys about the secret Canadian club that they have on all cruise ships. Yeah.
You gotta do a couple verses of "O Canada," and then there's a secret.
Then you can go on.
You got to sing it in French.
Oh, that's the key. You got to do it in French. Yeah,
exactly.
Anyway, no, but we did see them again briefly. I ran into one of them and the popcorn line for the theater to see Hoppers, which we will get into in a bit here. But So Kara, anything else you want to add on that before I keep moving on here?
No, go ahead.
Okay, cool. All right, let's do this. So we get on the ship. The ship's beautiful. Right, I mean, all the Disney ships are beautiful. The treasure, and one of the themes of this trip report is going to be how different our experience was with the Fantasy than the treasure, and it's so interesting because to me, it's not one is better than the other. It's almost like comparing apples to oranges in some ways.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, and I can't even really explain it.
You're understanding what I've tried to express to you about the difference between Disneyland and Disney World.
Yeah, no,
you know what? That's actually a good point.
That's actually a really good comparison point.
It's the same thing. Yeah. It's not that one is better than the other. They both have their things to them, and it's not fair to compare them.
And I would agree with that, because the Fantasy just has a vibe that I can't really describe. Right? Like it's a Karen, I think you called it like homey kind of like.
Yes, it reminded me a little bit more of DVC, to be honest, because
Okay, yeah.
it felt so like comfortable going in. And not to say that the Treasure wasn't, because they're very similarly sized ships, but there was just something about it that just made me feel comfortable the moment I stepped on, and just felt like I was at home.
You felt like you're home.
I felt like, I felt like I could get around a little bit better. And I'm now understanding why people were upset about the Wish class changing the elevators, because that midship elevator was very important for us.
I see. I don't know. That to me, that I disagree, because that criticism to me meant nothing. Like I didn't feel like.
I mean, I'm not
I
upset about it, but it was nice to have it.
I just don't care where the elevators are. They're I don't know. I just don't care where they are.
I don't know about that, Tom. I'm very much I can see the point of having things in certain positions can matter on a ship.
I guess it just doesn't matter to me.
Fair. That's fair.
I'm not saying it shouldn't matter to anybody. I'm just saying it doesn't matter to me. You know. So yeah, I listen. It's kind of different, Trevor, though, because you know, and one of the reasons why is like, so for example, the theming is just, obviously every ship kind of has its own theme going on, but on the Treasure, everything down to the little cafes is IP, right? Which I don't have a problem with. I actually like, right? Like I like that there's the Mulan themed cafe, right? That's on the ship. I like that the Haunted Mansion bar exists on the Treasure. Like I like all that. They don't do that on the Fantasy as much, right? There's still theming. Yep. Don't get me wrong. It's just like, go ahead, Karen. I'm sorry.
No, it reminds me more of DVC, because we even mentioned this, and we'll talk more about it about Vero, but it just, you have those little places of Disney that you know that this is a Disney cruise, but then you also have some cafes, you have some of even the restaurants that are not people that aren't a huge fan of Disney, I think would still be okay, because it's not all in your face.
It's in your face, but not in your face, right? Like it's not as much as the Treasure, for sure.
Can I maybe make a comparison, or I'm going to try and relate this back to how I perceive the different resorts. And by the way, this is my perception. Anyone who, you know, doesn't agree with this, totally fair. It's just how I see it. I feel like it's the difference between staying at like the All-Stars resorts versus staying at a deluxe resort. That, like, I know like deluxe obviously is like, you know, you're paying more and all that, but deluxe resorts tend to, while there is very clearly like overt Disney things throughout them, you can also kind of get lost in the idea that you're just at a resort, and you're like, it's themed to something, but it's not like Mickey Mouse hitting you in the face. Whereas like All Stars is like, you go to All Stars and it's like everything, like you cannot turn your head without seeing some sort of eyepiece. Like even like going to the food court is just like hitting you over the head with it. So it sounds like maybe that's kind of the difference between the ships. And
I would totally agree.
That the Treasure is wrong for doing that. It's just design choices, right?
It's just different, honestly. Yeah. And I understand why some people maybe don't love the IP stuff. Fine. But I'm also going on a Disney cruise, and I kind of expect the Disney IP there. Like, that's where I want the Disney IP to be, right? But at the same time, I will say the spaces that were not IP, that were original on the Fantasy, we also really enjoyed, right?
Like, they were beautiful.
Yeah. They were great. I mean, the adult areas, there's a whole bunch of different adult bars, and they are all wonderfully themed, and they're not in any way Disney at all. Right?
Exactly. I really liked how the bars were set up. So essentially in the Fantasy, and I'm going to guess that some of the older ships, this is similar to, but they had all of the adult areas in one area. And during the day, kids could go and join. But at night, it turned into 18 plus. So they had like 5 different bars and lounges that were just all in one part of the ship. And one of them ranged from like a British pub to an Irish pub to a beautiful garden. There was a champagne lounge. And it just, again, it was beautifully done.
Yeah.
It just wasn't in your face Disney.
Yeah, and I mean, Trevor, you should look up the bathroom hallway in the adult area on the fantasy, because
oh my gosh,
we were making a lot of jokes
hallway.
about that one.
Okay.
I actually almost
All right.
got stuck in one of those bathrooms.
Yeah, it's a very interesting artsy design, I have to say that. But I was jokingly saying that every time we were walking through it, I felt like I was being birthed, like, because it's very it looks yeah. I don't know how to describe
It's different.
Well,
anyway, back to
you keep going. I'm gonna look this up. You
do some Googling there and see what you can find.
Yeah.
But okay, so maybe we should go day by day. But so that was our initial impression. So I going back to the first day, I immediately go.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say I immediately go downstairs. What were we going to say, Kara?
That's what I was going to say too. You immediately go down and our daughter and I hang out.
I immediately go downstairs and I start talking to the manager of they have the managers of the restaurants down there, and one of them, we talked to quite a bit because he came to our table every night. And I as I mentioned on the show, I slipped him $100 bill. I'm just kidding. Really didn't do that.
He thought about it.
It was funny on the Discord though, because I forget who said it. It was like, did you slip them money? I was like, and I don't think I responded to it because I thought it'd be funnier not to. But no, I did not. We put our name on a wait list, and I said, listen, we got a 5-year-old and 2 7-year-olds not going to make it to dinner. If you guys can make this happen, we would really appreciate it. And listen, we also knew too that we had 7 people in our party. That's hard to seat 7 people, even though Disney is prepared for larger parties like that. To ask for something like that is a hard ask, and I understood that. And I said to the guy, listen, if you guys need to split us up, we would rather eat early and be split up than have to eat late. So lo and behold, I don't know what, maybe an hour or two later, Karen, look at the app and I hear a squeal from the other room. Because Karen goes on the app and notices that we did get the earlier dining, which was really a lifesaver. I think it really made our trip. I mean, because we loved the rotational dining on the fantasy, and we really wouldn't have been able to do it if we hadn't gotten the earlier time.
No, it would have been a lot harder. We would have had to utilize the kids club more. We would have maybe even, had to do more of the poolside food, which was still very good.
It was,
but
yeah.
One of the things that you love about Disney cruises, though, are the actual experiences in the dining rooms, because they are so different than if you were to go on, another cruise line, because they're all themed, and the food. Oh, I can't wait to talk about that.
You can talk about the food anytime you want. Yeah, so that was great. We got that. We enjoyed sitting on our balconies, and the room was in a great spot. Rooms were great. Can't really say too much about the rooms. I mean, it's very similar to the Treasure. Not a huge difference there.
Well, I have to say one thing about our room, because again, we were such a large party, and we also, booked later. We were able to get connecting rooms, which was incredible for us. But also, we were in the front of the ship, and we could see where the officers would come when we were docking, although they didn't really dock on our side, but they would come out to the wings, and we were right next to it. So every time we would come out there, they would see us and wave at the kids, and they were just so sweet. It was really a cool experience doing that.
Yeah.
That feels like unintentional extra pixie dust, right?
Exactly.
Like it's not that you needed it, but that's a very nice thing to have.
I will say too, though, that this is going to come into play later in this conversation. Being on the very highest deck you can be on all the way in the front of the ship also has disadvantages if the seas are a little rough.
Yeah,
which they were.
Yeah,
I did see you wrote about this on Discord, and
yes, we will talk about it.
Yeah, this part is honestly something that this is a lot of the reason that my wife and I go back and forth about cruising. Is like, for her, I don't think she could handle what it sounds like you guys went through with high winds and all that.
No, she would have a really hard time, especially our last night.
Yeah. So, and we'll kind of go through that, but I mean, listen, no joke, it was pretty much the whole cruise was decently rough, right? Like, there was one night and day where it was completely and totally smooth, and we didn't even know we were on a ship. That was really the only respite we got. But that's not to say it wasn't great. And I do think she'd still be okay, because there are lots of people on board where like the patches and the you know, all the different things for, I mean, there are ways to get around it for sure. But I totally understand the concern. True. I'm not trying to discount that because I know you guys have major concerns around that.
Yeah.
But so I don't know what first night care we did, and what was it? Royal Table.
Royal Court. Royal Table, yeah.
Whatever. Is it Royal Table or Royal Court?
I think it was Royal Court.
Okay.
And we met our server and our assistant server. Oh my gosh. I wish they could listen to this because I want to give them the most amazing props because they were just amazing.
Incredible. Yeah. So I think you probably remember, Trevor, when we came off the treasure, one of my issues with the treasure was the service was not what I expected it to be, especially for Disney, right? Disney and everybody will tell you that the things that stand out for Disney, you know, for Disney Cruise Line, the food, the service, that kind of stuff. We just didn't get the service we wanted on the treasure. Now we understood.
I recall with the treasure, it was a fairly new ship, and when we had talked about it, you assumed that it was like a lot of new staff kind of getting into the groove. So
yeah,
absolutely.
Just to say, Trevor, what our expectations are, because you haven't done a cruise, right?
Mm-hmm.
The great thing about Disney cruises, and that they're the only ones that do this, is that you rotate through 3 different restaurants through your trip, and your servers come with you. So they move to each restaurant with you, and so they get to know you and your family and what you want and what your likes and dislikes and all that stuff. And so what you kind of expect is, okay, I ordered a Diet Coke on the first night, right? Well, every time after, when I got to the table, there was a Diet Coke sitting in my spot, whether I wanted it or not. Like that's what they do, right? And that's what the service is supposed to be, right? Like our kids got Shirley Temples on the first night. They had Shirley Temples on the table waiting for them every time we got to dinner every night. Like, and you know, or like one of the kids like ketchup with every meal, and as soon as they brought out his meal, they also brought out the ketchup. Like that's what you expect. That's the level of service you expect.
Yeah, that is next level for sure.
Right?
Yeah, I would never assume that.
No, but that's what you expect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's nice too because the way that they do the food, bringing out the food, because, you know, there's an appetizer, there's a soup, a salad, an entree, and a dessert. Well, they have such a way of organizing it that we get our appetizers and a few minutes later our kids are already eating their main course. And so it really helps the dinner actually move along too, especially with little kids, because they're not waiting there bored, you know, trying to wait for their food. They have it spaced out in such a way that even though they're not eating the same thing the same time with us, they're still eating and being entertained. Our assistant server one night, actually 2 nights, she had different types of riddles that she was giving us to keep them entertained. And of course, Disney in general, they always have something going on within the restaurant to keep you entertained too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so in the Royal Court is kind of themed to it's like themed to princesses.
I assumed as such. I was trying to guess if there was a specific princess or if they just kind of had the gambit of princesses going on.
There's no actual princesses in the restaurant. It's just kind of like, it's very much Cinderella.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very much themed to Cinderella, I would say.
Got it.
Right. I mean, Kara, what do you say? It's Cinderella.
Yeah, I think I saw like a mural for Cinderella and Belle in the back where we were sitting. So but primarily, like our last night there, our servers wore an outfit that looked like you were going to the royal ball. So.
Yeah, the outfits change every night for the servers. In fact, I asked our servers, I said, how many different outfits do you have? And I think Afri said 11. They have 11 different outfits. That's crazy.
Well, and I was curious too, because I know when you work at Disney World or Disneyland proper, they have like seamstresses, they have a costume area. And I was curious how that worked on the cruise too, because of all of these different costumes and outfits. And they actually have one on board too. So she just has to go pick up her, you know, her costume a certain amount of time before. And she made a joke that, if you're late, they close at a certain time. Then let me tell you, you kind of have to figure out a different solution.
Yeah.
And so Thankfully, she never had that issue, but it was nice this go around though too. I felt like we had a better relationship also with our staff. You know, we talked to them quite a bit. Our friend's daughter is in a Spanish immersion program and she speaks Spanish fluently. And so we noticed though that our assistant server, when we talked to her, also spoke Spanish because she grew up in Spain. And so it was really cool seeing that interaction even between her and my friend's daughter. So I just felt like we got a better connection, even though we weren't on the cruise nearly as long as we were with the Treasure.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, that was really the biggest downfall of the Treasure. And listen, we're not going to say we're never going on the Treasure again because of, I mean, I think bad service is. I
still love it.
Yeah, no, they were very nice, and I just think they were in a little over their head. That's all. I think what the big difference is, Trevor, is the Fantasy's been around a long time. Our server had been on the Fantasy for 10 years. So
these people know the ins and outs of
exactly
how the cruise functions, all that. And you know, I'll say this too, is like, I get like your sentiment about like, you didn't have as great at the time on the Treasure. I mean, I've had multiple trips to Disney as well, where it's like, I can do the same thing 5 times and it can be hit or miss. I've had like at Garden Grill, I've had like the most amazing, wait staff. And then I've had other ones that were like, yeah, they were just kind of there. And it wasn't that they were like awful, but it was like, you could just tell, like, you know, sometimes it's you catch people on a bad day, or it's just, it's a timing thing, right? Like, so I get it. And
we didn't have a bad time on the Treasure. Like, I don't think our bad service detracted from our trip in any way. It was great. So
we just had a different experience on the Fantasy because this is kind of what we expected. Yeah.
This is what we expected from the Treasure, but you know,
and whatever. We kind of sound bougie. Sorry.
No. But it's what you expect on a Disney cruise. It is. I mean, it's part of the allure. You know,
if I'm going on a cruise and I'm being told that like things are, you know, all include, or sorry, I shouldn't say all inclusive, but like,
it's pretty close
that you're getting certain things included with it. You know, I kind of assume that, you know, or, you know, if they're selling it to me as like, hey, this is like an upscale thing, it's not going to be like me walking up to a quick service and just, you know, grabbing a burger. Like I do expect a certain amount of like, you know, formality to it. I was trying to find the right word. I guess it's like it's more of a formal thing. It's not meant to be like casual all the way through.
Yeah, a Disney cruise is a luxury cruise. Okay, it is, right? Like and that's what you expect. So yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, we absolutely loved the service. The food was great. I don't want to go through each and every restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
We really the other two were Enchanted Garden, which we went to twice, which is it's like eating outside in a garden. I don't know how else to describe it.
It was beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Is it inside or is it outside?
It's inside.
It's inside.
It's inside, but it's like eating outside.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Well, it was interesting though, because there were like these lights that would change colors, and they had these blooming flowers though.
Yeah. And they blew
like Alice in Wonderland kind of vibe, or?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
But basically,
it's not as like weird.
As you eat, it gets darker. It gets darker, and the lights start to bloom, and they change colors. It's pretty cool.
Neat.
Yeah, and then Animator's Palette, which is you know one that shows up on a bunch of other ships, and on this particular ship, they have a thing with Crush. So it's like Turtle Talk with Crush at dinner. So like literally, we were sitting at our table, and Crush pops up on the screen and starts talking to Karen and asking her questions. Like
it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, on like there's like a screen nearby, or like
all around the entire restaurant. There's all of the walls in the restaurant are screens.
Oh, okay.
So think of like the restaurant being put into different sections. So there were all of these different screens, but then Crush would come and talk to different sections, and he would pull out certain people, and he pulled out myself. And then of course I brought Autumn into it as well. And that was just, that was so cute. All of the kids just loved the fact that he was talking to us, and it was really fun.
And the food there was great. The Animator's Palette was actually my favorite food, I think, of the trip. I different people varied on this, like within our
I
group.
loved it.
I loved it too, but I think the other people in our party liked Royal Court maybe a little bit more, or Enchanted Garden a little more. I loved all the food at Animator's Palette. It was all really good, and the experience was just a lot of fun. We were actually really sad we didn't have that one for 2 nights, but I think part of it was because we switched we basically got the least in my mind we got the least attractive rotation, essentially, where, because we're only there for 5 nights, so we do 2 restaurants for 2 of the nights, and then one restaurant for 1 of the nights. I'm assuming that most people probably want to do Animator's Palette for 2 of the nights because it is the most interactive and fun one, and want to do the other 2 for 1 or 2. And we just, I think, because we switched, we ended up with that, which is fine. Again, we had a great time with that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So I'm just trying to think of some other. So first day, we wake up the next morning, Trevor. We're at where were we? Was Lookout first?
Nassau.
Oh no, Nassau was first. Nassau was first. Nassau, Bahamas, right? Very pretty area. Sure, really nice. Pulling in.
Okay.
We didn't get off the ship. we decided to stay on the ship.
I kind of think that was one of the best decisions that we had done, because
I agree.
I feel like we needed a day to just explore the ship and enjoy the pool, and just, our kids ended up going to the kids club quite a bit actually throughout. And it just gave us a chance to kind of ease into the trip instead of having to go.
And, typically, Trevor, and this is why I've said before, I kind of only want to do the 7-day ones, because the 7-day ones, you get at least like 2 sea days. And on sea days, you can just explore the ship and do the things on the ship. But this trip, we only had 1 sea day. Everything else was port, right? It was you were in a port each day. And so we didn't really get the opportunity to check out the ship as much as we wanted to.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I agree with that. I understand the whole point of cruises hit different ports, and it's like you're also exploring the ports as you are as much the ship. But I kind of share that same sentiment with you, that for me, if it's somewhere new, I really want to spend a lot of time just exploring that place. And I would do the same thing. If I was in your position and they're like, oh, we've hit a port the first day, I'd be like, I don't care. I'm just, let me figure out the ship for a few days.
And there's an insane amount of stuff on the ship to do, right?
You're not bored ever.
No, there's no boredom, right? It's constant activity, right? So there's constantly characters. The other thing, Trevor, is the characters are just pop up all the time, right? We'd be walking down the hallway, and all of a sudden, Daisy walks by us, and she's taking pictures with the kids, and not a scheduled thing at all. She just is there, right?
That's how we saw Jasmine.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's hard. It's interesting, Trevor, because one of the things I noted on this trip, and I don't think I really kind of comprehended on the last trip, is how different the character interactions are on the cruises than they are in the parks. There can be 100-person line, and each one of those characters take a very long time with the kids. We were with Stitch for 5 minutes. Just
easily, if not
easily
more.
5 minutes. And Stitch is doing all sorts of different things with them, messing around with them. You're with the face characters, and they're, they're talking to Mulan and Mulan's asking them questions, and the kids are asking questions back. It's so much more of an intimate experience with the characters than you get in the parks, because the parks are churn it out, next. Yeah, you don't get that on the ship, which is amazing.
That is a downfall, unfortunately, of Disney World specifically, because you're right. It's that organic, you weren't expecting it, and all of a sudden it's, oh, there's a character here, and you have, there's a big difference between waiting, 20 minutes to meet a character, and you kind of build yourself up to meet that character, but it's also, you're just kind of getting pushed through a line, versus, like you said, that interaction that wasn't expected. I get that, because I've had those interactions, and I know I keep referring back to Disneyland, but that's my only point of reference to anything you're talking about. But it's the same thing. Like you don't expect it, but you know, running into characters is the coolest thing. And yeah, obviously they realize that on the ship that it's very valuable.
It's even
our kids got to dance around with Chip and Dale for 5 minutes.
Yeah, while Chip or Dale were signing like all the stuff that they brought, they were they were literally doing like a little dance party. And it was so even like when you wait in line for the character, they still give you that really large chunk of time. So you have both the random character interactions, but also those times where you wait in line and they just give you this like amazing interaction. Like my kid's never going to forget that. Right. And all the stuff that she did with Stitch. And I think that's a big difference. So
even when we got off the ship at one of the islands, I think it was Castaway, we even saw Chip and Dale handing out towels. You know, when you're in the parks,
you're walking in and the Chip and Dale are just handing out towels.
Dancing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And even at the parks, I remember there was one time when our daughter was really little and she saw Winnie the Pooh, and we just walking by would have loved to have been able to get a high five at the park. They wouldn't even do that because they had to get to their spot. Whereas literally, as Tom said, we were waiting in line for something else and we would see another character and they would come up and just give high fives, hugs. They would take so much time and they had to be somewhere else. But these characters and the people, the cast members were just incredible. I like to joke, the handlers, but they were just so accommodating.
The handlers interact with that. Like the handlers at Disney World, just kind of bring them from place to place. Like the handlers here, are talking to them in character. They have a whole rapport, right? It's a whole thing.
Right.
So
I was going to say, even if they had somewhere to be, it's what are they worried that people are going to leave?
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
There was one point where we were just standing at the elevators. And who was it walked by? Was it?
It was Jasmine.
No, it was Jasmine. Yeah, Jasmine walks by. She takes pictures with our kids and then continues on. And there were a bunch of other kids that were because she was going to her meet and greet, but it's just that kind of stuff that is really a huge difference on the ships. But and I don't want to get bogged down in that, but I just so. Bahamas.
No, it's fair. It stood out to you guys, and that's what you're here to talk about what stood out. So
we hung by the pool that day. Really, I mean, that's probably what we spent most of the time doing is hanging on the pool that day. I'm trying to think what we even did outside of.
I think that's when we made those bags for the kids too. My friend had this amazing idea because again, you're not bored on a cruise. Even when you have a port, they have so many different activities besides just the meet and greets. They have adult only activities, they have kid friendly activities, and so we would try and go to all of those. But our kids really wanted to go to the kids club, so we walked around, and in one of the bars, they had an arts and crafts, and we made little signature drawstring bags for our kiddos. And that was the star of the trip because our kids would just have their backpacks on and then they can use it this summer when they go to summer camp or they're, around, and they have all of these different signatures. And instead of just a book that, you're going to just put somewhere, this could actually be used and they could be like, yo, look at me. I got a cool backpack.
Yeah, I want to note that I did not participate in that craft because I'm not crafty. So,
that's exactly why you should have, Tom.
No,
he had plenty of comments though on mine.
Lots of comments. Yeah, I fixed your Mickey Mouse. Okay, your ears were too small in proportion. I fixed it. I just made it bigger. I just helped a little. I just helped a little.
Sure.
It's so the total about face. By the way, from the Treasure to this trip, our daughter loved the kids club on the ship. Now, part of it was she had a little bit of a challenge with her cousin being with her last time, who was younger than her. And it was a little more difficult for her because, she wanted to go and do her own thing in the kids club, but her cousin wanted to do some of the younger things with her. And so that made it a little bit difficult. This time she's with her best friend. They had a blast. They loved the kids club. I mean,
they kept asking to go.
Yeah, they kept asking to go, which last time
makes sense that, if you're given an opportunity to go hang out somewhere with your best friend, yeah.
And the kids club,
the
kids club was awesome. The kids club on this ship was really, really cool.
This was the only thing I will say negatively, and I hate to use that word, but the only thing that really stunk this time was when you go to the kids club, they have, the cruise app, and you can do messaging through it, and you don't have to pay for internet to be able to use it. Well, for whatever reason, this trip, I don't know if it was weather or what. I mean, because the weather was kind of
It's pretty
but
bad.
we literally could not get messages from the kids club, because what would happen is if our daughter wanted to get picked up, typically she would go to one of the counselors and they would message us saying, hey, so-and-so wants to get picked up. Well, it wasn't working at all. So that first night, they wanted to go to the kids club after dinner. They were exhausted and kept asking to get picked up. We maybe were gone an hour. Right, Tom?
Yeah,
Like,
maybe
not
an hour,
long.
hour and a half, something
But
like that.
they came, and let me tell you, those kids gave us the
We're mad.
biggest hard
They were
time.
mad.
They were like, you told us that we can message you,
left
and
us
we're
here.
tired.
So, okay. So what, like, it was just a technical
Yeah,
hiccup?
Yeah.
Or,
the chat system did not work the entire cruise for everyone. It was some sort of technical issue they were having, but everybody was complaining about it on the ship. And
okay. Yeah.
it's listen, I mean, I don't know if the other cruise companies have a chat thing within their apps. I don't think that they do. Most of the time you have to just rely on like using like RCS or using like WhatsApp or something like that. And Disney does have it, and that's great, but it just wasn't working. And that's disappointing, but it is what it is.
It didn't ruin our trip by any means.
No, it was just frustrating.
Yeah, I can imagine.
All
right. So let me ask this, because I know you kind of touched on going to ports. Did this cruise stop at the new, because there's Castaway Key, and then there's the new island, which I cannot, the name's escaping me.
Lookout.
Yeah.
Lookout
So,
Lighthouse Key.
yeah. So day 2. By the way, funny enough, the one thing we didn't do on this entire cruise, the weather got really bad at the end of that first day. It got real foggy, got real rainy. I think there might have been a thunderstorm. Kara, correct me if I'm wrong.
I think so.
And so like they closed down everything on the pool deck. So we actually never got a chance to go on the Aqueduct, which is the water coaster that's on the. I know, it was really disappointing. Actually, we're all kind of bummed about it, but it is what it is. So day 2, I would say. So what, that night we probably went and did 80s trivia, Kara, at the Tube, right?
Yes, we went to the Tube and did that, and then we picked up the kids and went to sleep because we knew that the next day would be.
Yeah. 80s music trivia, which we failed very hard at. I was really disappointed in myself, honestly. But anyway, so next day we go to Lookout. All right, Trevor. So the whole thing with the long dock, whatever.
It's not that bad.
It's not that big of a deal.
I don't understand what I've seen pictures of it. I don't see what the big deal is about it. But,
So essentially, Trevor, what happened was, with Castaway, they ended up going closer, obviously damaged some of the life, the coral, and whatnot. So they wanted to make it so that it was longer. I will also say that I've heard there was actually one of the cruises right before us couldn't actually dock at Castaway because of the wind, because of how close the dock is to the island. So Lookout essentially has a 10-minute walk to the first tram stop.
Yeah. 10 minutes? 10 whole minutes?
I know.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
I shared the picture though. You saw it looks really long, and it
does.
When you're on it, it does feel pretty long, but it's really not a bad walk. And they have golf carts for those that are that can't make that walk. They also have wagons, so you can pull your kids if you don't want your kids doing it. You can pull your kids in wagons. Like, it's fine. Like I don't know.
I mean, sorry, you put on so many more miles in the theme parks. I don't see why this is such a big deal. Like,
agreed.
But it really shouldn't be, and it was so easy.
Yeah. So I'm going to say that we're almost running into an hour here, and we haven't even we're not even close to the end. So we should start speeding some of this up.
Okay.
But you talked about all the things that were important. So
let me say this about Lookout. I grew up in New Jersey, going to the beach. We would go to the beach all the time. We go to the ocean all the time. Like, that's what we did. And I've been to a bunch of different beaches on our cruises, that we've done. But just also, in Florida, other places. I have never been to a beach that was as incredible as the beach at Lookout. It is the nicest beach I've ever been to. It is absolutely stunning. The water is stunning. The sand, I don't even know how to describe the sand, Karen, but the sand
is so incredibly soft, and it has little
very fine,
in it.
soft.
It's like you're walking on like powdered sugar. It's like it's so hard to describe because I've never stepped on a beach like that, right? Like, and usually you get a bunch of shells and like broken pieces of stuff, and just this literally the sand is kind of pinkish because it has these crushed up shells in it, and so it's just got this really fine quality to it, and you could just stand on it and just enjoy, like the feeling on your feet was just incredible. And then the water is just beautiful. The way that the beach is set up. I mean, we stayed on the beach the entire day.
Put it this way, Trevor, my daughter got her first really bad sunburn, unfortunately.
She did.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was trying to say, I was like, listen, kid, you've made it 7 years of life without getting sunburn. Like this, it was going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a lobster. It's okay.
Yeah, you made it pretty
didn't
far.
make it that long, so yeah.
Yeah, she made it pretty far without getting a bad sunburn. And even though we reapplied, but listen, she was in the ocean all day long, like literally the whole day. We saw a dolphin.
We did.
Nice.
Like literally a dolphin just jumped out of the water like right in front of us.
Oh, Tom, you forgot to mention too that when we first docked, we were sitting out on our balconies and saw a turtle.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Which is neat. But you know what? Listen. I feel like Lookout and Castaway are the same exact type of thing where we were describing the two different ships. You can't really compare them because they're very different. And they each have such amazing things. Like I would say for me, Lookout was more of I want to be at the beach. I only want to be at the beach. I just want to stay there because of just how beautiful and serene. Whereas Castaway is more of okay, I can do other things. Like Tom and our daughter went on a bike ride. We went on a paddle boat. There were some other things that we didn't necessarily need to just sit at the beach.
Yeah. And that's the big difference, right? Is like, on Lookout, it's a real beach, right? And what I mean by that is at Castaway, it's a protected cove. So you have the ocean there and you have the beach, but there's no waves. There's like fish and stuff, like small fish and stuff like that, but there's really no creatures. It's very calm. It's almost like taking a bath versus like going to a wave pool. Like it's
more so a pool than like being on the ocean.
Exactly. And like Castaway just like is almost more about activities than it is about the actual beach. Whereas like Lookout is a beach, right? And truthfully, it's funny because we wanted to see like the performers on Lookout, because they have like the some of the locals, they have like performances with like their cultural, kind of dances and stuff like that. We didn't even get to any of that. Like we just literally just stayed on the beach all day. We went back and got food. When we got food, it just so happened like a thunderstorm rolled through for like 10 minutes. So it was actually perfect because we were already undercover for that, which was great. But we loved Lookout. Lookout was awesome. I
will want to go back so badly.
Was that the same day we saw Aladdin, or was that the next day?
No, that was the same day, and we have to talk about those shows.
Yeah. So we saw Aladdin and Frozen while we were on the ship. They were both fantastic. Aladdin, I think I liked Aladdin more, which is funny because Frozen is really the headline show on the ship, but Aladdin was so good. I mean, so many like fireworks, like literal fireworks on the stage, and like the person that performs as the carpet is like an acrobat, so like they're doing flips all over the place, and the genie's hilarious.
Yeah, Genie gets to break the fourth wall in the Aladdin stage show. Yeah,
our kiddos had such a amazing time, and keep in mind too, we went to this after dinner, right, Tom?
Yeah. This was late
so
one
it was
for us.
later.
Yeah.
And so we thought, the kids wouldn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But oh my gosh, Genie, like they made connections to, the whole 6-7 and Bluey.
He was doing Bluey, the Bluey theme song. He was,
nice.
It was Yeah, it was funny.
As a former like theater person who used to act, just the way that they choreographed this, and the stage is not humongous. They were able to fit so much into it. And same with Frozen too. The
Frozen was
actors
great,
and
yeah.
actresses were incredible.
Yeah.
But Aladdin definitely captured our daughter so much more. She loved the genie. She was giggling, loving life. It was so sweet to
Yeah.
see.
They were, I mean, Aladdin was great. Frozen was great too. It just was different because Frozen is not like Aladdin was like straight up funny, like, and Frozen has some funny parts with Olaf and stuff like that, but it's not the same, right? Like, and it was, I mean, they were both really, really, really well done and really, really, they were great. I mean, they're what you expect from a Disney production on a ship. The nice thing about Frozen is they did have it during our C Day, and they had a matinee, so Trevor, usually what you end up doing, they usually have 2 shows, and you kind of do it based on, like, you do the early show if you have the late dinner, and you do the late show if you have the early dinner. That's typically what you do. But because they had a matinee, we were able to do it and not have to worry about the dinner piece, because doing the late show with the early dinner is, again, it's still tough for us. The kids were, listen, I did
with younger kids, you're fighting against them. You're winding down. Yeah.
I mean, listen, like towards I don't know, maybe the last 20 minutes of Aladdin, my daughter turns around and she goes, "Can we leave?" And I was like, "No, like, we got to finish this out." He was done.
Eat some more popcorn.
Yeah. Just eat your candy and shush it. No, I'm just kidding. No, but we got all the way through. But yeah, the matinee was nice. It was nice that the matinee was there.
I will say I was so proud of our daughter this trip because she and I both stayed awake for Pirates Night, which I know Tom talked about the last time, and it was the same show, but watching it through our daughter's eyes was really cool. And keep in mind, the show didn't start until 10:15. So again, our daughter was in bed tonight a little after 7. So that was late for her. We sent them to the kids club first. And also it was so windy that we were actually worried that the fireworks weren't going to happen.
And then somehow magically, right before the show started, the winds completely stopped. It was
weird.
It was weird. It was almost like, how some people seem to think that Disney World has a giant dome around it. Like, that's literally what it felt like for a second. It was like, wait, can Disney control the weather?
The Disney cruise dome, that they have a bubble around the cruise ships too. Yeah.
Seriously though, because it was like so windy, and then all of a sudden
it was cold.
Yeah.
I mean, not like cold where you guys are with snow right now, but it was cold.
Yeah. So, but it's awesome. I mean, listen, the fireworks at sea are really, really cool, and the pirate show is really cool. I'm just glad we got to experience that again. It was a lot of fun.
So, Tom, should we talk about Vero? Because I know that you wanted to.
We're really far into this, and you guys haven't even touched on Vero yet. So,
and I'm so excited to talk about it.
Yeah. The last thing I want to say is that our very last night, we had it wasn't great weather the whole time, and this actually leads us into the Vero discussion. So, because it affected our Vero vacation too. So, the very last night they made an announcement, which I did not hear. I heard secondhand from another person that wasn't even in our party. A random person I talked to in the elevator. Which again, weird because I don't talk to people, but they were forecasting 50 to 60 mile per hour winds the last night, and also what was it, 12 to 15 foot seas, which
easily
is not great.
No, definitely not.
Really not great, right? And I will say the last night was very rough. I had a very difficult time sleeping. I wasn't getting seasick. It just was really, really aggressively choppy, and we were, and I also haven't had this issue before where getting off the ship where I still feel the ship. I felt the ship for 2 to 3 days after we left, and which never happens to me. So, and it was just from that last night, I think. So, but listen, they handled it great. Everything was fine. I'm trying to think if there were any other points we need to mention from the cruise, but the reason I mention this is because that same weather, when we were going through that weather, we were basically going by the coast of Florida, pretty close to the coast of Florida, and we going by where Vero Beach is. So, Karen, I don't know if there's something you wanted to mention there, but when we got off the ship, we decided to go straight to Vero. And as soon as we got there, it started downpouring. Like,
not just a little rain.
I
Downpour.
mean, monsoon. Like, and also extremely high winds, just like we had on the ship. We're talking sideways rain here, like blow open the doors rain. Like there were people running inside and the doors are getting blown open and papers are flying all over the place. Like it was that kind of weather. And
so no outdoor activities kind of weather.
Yeah, no. And listen,
but I will say Disney did what Disney does best, though.
They did. Yeah. So let me mention this. So we drove down the Jimmy Buffett Memorial Highway from, and I'm not joking, that's actually the name of the road, from Port Canaveral all the way to Vero, which was actually kind of a nice drive because it was pretty. Driving on the goods. Kara, what were you saying?
Right along the coast, I assume.
Yeah, it was.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah, it was great because it was literally just like a straight shot down. It was right on the, we got to see all these little beach towns on the way there, like, Cocoa Beach and all these other places. So the drive was fine, and it was a little rainy and very windy. But, so we get there. The cast members were excellent. Literally, I've never seen this, and I don't think they even do this at Hilton Head. But when we go to check in, the woman checking us in has an iPad in her hand. She takes us over to a table that's in the lobby and sits down with a map and explains the resort to us, explains where everything is. Like literally she sat with us, for 15 minutes maybe, Kara, like walking us through everything. And I was like, okay, this is great. I mean, this is really amazing. What you expect from DVC. In these kinds of scenarios, I don't expect this in the big resorts, but these Vero and Hilton Head are so small and intimate and just different than the other resorts. They have a different vibe. They're laid back. They're relaxed. They're minimal Disney, right, Kara? I mean, there's still Disney there, but if you weren't paying attention and you didn't know, you probably could, figure. You probably wouldn't think that you were at Disney as much.
Yeah, it feels just more like a beach type resort with a little bit of Disney sprinkled in.
Oh, and so part of, by the way, the high winds and the rain was also a high surf warning. So we went out to check out the ocean at our beach resort and found that the ocean was extraordinarily angry and was because it was high surf. There was essentially no beach. So, like, the part of the beach that is usually the beach that you sit on at Vero Beach was all ocean.
It was just all the waves were pushing up and
yeah. So, listen, so we got that really great service, but Carrie, you mentioned like Disney does what Disney does.
Yeah. So our kids were starting to get a little antsy and, because we didn't have our room yet. We were trying to figure out lunch.
We checked in, but room wasn't ready yet. So
we're sitting in the lobby.
Or 10 o'clock, whatever it was.
Yeah. We're sitting in the lobby. Next thing you know, a cast member comes out with a huge bucket of like crayons and markers and coloring stuff. Okay. Typical Disney. But then all of a sudden, guess who walks in? Pluto. Pluto is just hanging out and comes over immediately to our kids, starts messing with them, signing things, coloring with them, walking around. He did a fun little joke where he tried to go outside and the wind blew him back in, and just they did the most magical thing. That is what I love about Disney with our daughter. It's those kinds of moments. She's not going to forget that kind of stuff.
I mean, Pluto was literally sitting with her coloring. I mean, that was literally what was happening.
It actually reminds me when we were in the Polynesian, we were there for a hurricane in, I think it's October or November. I can't remember. This was a couple of years ago now. And I know what you're talking about. Like obviously my son was older at the time, so he wasn't like looking for the characters, but I remember like walking to the lobby and what you're describing, like, seeing the characters, and they weren't like just like lining up and doing like the normal character meet stuff. They were like down on the floor with the kids and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I get it. I get that's like, that's a huge thing for younger kids too, that like, I mean, sorry, but your daughter gets to go to her friends at school and be like, yeah, well, Pluto hung out with me, one day.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
You don't get to say that usually. Like, yeah.
No.
Yeah. I that was great. And so another thing that we decided to drop our bags off because the room wasn't ready yet. So we dropped a couple bags off with concierge, and we were also having groceries delivered too. And so we decided, well, listen, it's like, but the kids were playing. They had Nintendo Switches. Like the whole room that was filled with Nintendo Switches. So the kids were playing some video games. They were doing whatever. And we were all just kind of hanging out, relaxing. And we decided to go to lunch. And while we're at lunch, our grocery order gets delivered, and our room is our room becomes ready at like 1:00 or so. We get back from lunch. So I start driving.
We're in the car.
Yeah, I'm driving back from lunch, and I get a call from the front desk. And she goes, she says, hey, we got a grocery delivery for you. We noticed that your room is ready. And I know you have a couple bags with us. Do you want me to just bring those up to your room? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, well, just so you know, there's a $6 charge for the groceries. I'm like, yeah, it's, that's fine. Whatever. Right. So without us even asking, when we get back to the room, our bags are in the room already. The groceries are in the room and put away.
In the fridge and freezer.
In the fridge.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, this is awesome. And this is, Trevor, if you, people say this all the time about Hilton Head, and it is true that they have the nicest and best cast members. I feel this way about Vero Beach now, too, because we had the similar kind of treatment at Vero as Hilton Head. It's just like that kind of thing of, again, anticipating what you need and just doing it, and not, I didn't have to do anything. They just brought the bags up and it was done,
Nice.
It was great.
Yeah.
And I will also say the room itself. So we got a 2-bedroom, and it was right on the end, which was great. So we didn't have to worry about our kids making too much noise. It was on the first floor. And frankly, yeah, we were. I will say it was the best well-stocked villa we've ever been at. I mean, when we've stayed at other, like when we were in Animal Kingdom the one time, we wanted to make some snacks and things, and they had it, but like we were able to make full meals, a little challenging at times just because of the size of stuff. But like we made a whole spaghetti dinner. We made tacos one night, and it felt, again, so homey. And I know that's what DVC wants. They want you to feel like you are at home. And this place, I want to go back again. We had such a great time. And even though we didn't get to go to the beach, we still had the pool there, which the kids loved. They had bingo one day during the pool. And even when it rained, and unfortunately the slide they had was under renovation, but frankly, I mean, that would have added to it, but it didn't hurt the trip at all.
It was a bummer. It was a bummer that the slide was being renovated, but
hey, these are all things, like you said, you go back and there's new things to look at that you didn't do the last time you went. So.
Well, and the weather persisted for that next day, and so we did like a little nature conservation center thing, and then we did get some time in the pool, and it was a heated pool, which was good because it was kind of chilly out. It was like mid 70s, but the pool was 82 degrees at all times.
And Trevor's here thinking,
excellent.
Really? That's chilly? Okay.
No, I'm sure the water's warm once you get in. It's fine. Yeah.
We never did get to the beach at Vero Beach. But
our friends did the last day when we left, though, because that was one of the best days. Of course,
that was when the high surf warning finally ended. And so that you could actually go down to the beach. You couldn't really do it. I mean, like I said, there was like literally no beach for those couple of days that we were there. So, but listen, Vero was amazing. We loved Vero. I think it was, I think we definitely want to check it out again.
I honestly, Tom, I know we haven't discussed this, but I feel like Vero's one of those places that we go do Disney for a few days and then end the trip at Vero if we could, because it's so just nice. Relaxing. It's relaxing. It's quiet. It's a smaller resort, so you don't feel overwhelmed. Even in the pool, I didn't feel like it was that busy.
And it's a big pool.
And it was spring break, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask this earlier about the cruise ship and just in general. I'll admit I have not spent a lot of time in Florida during spring break, but I'm wondering if there's certain things in Florida that people gravitate towards for spring break, but then other things like a cruise or maybe going to Vero are not as busy or maybe like people, or because I guess spring break is usually like people like, kids taking a break from school, whereas like going on a cruise and stuff, I don't know that a lot of families are thinking about that kind of stuff for spring break.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just,
I don't know. Yeah.
How I look at it, but I mean, I could be wrong, but it's from what you're describing, it sounds like you guys may have found a nice little pocket where, people aren't as focused on those particular areas that you were going to.
I'm wondering if we got that reservation because the slide renovation was a 1 week renovation. It just happened to be while we were there. And I'm almost wondering if people found that out and then canceled their reservations. I would bet people would do that.
I mean,
which to me is sad because the resort is so beautiful and so worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's the same reason that, when I try not to advertise it too much either, but when there's stuff going on at the Polynesian and people are like, oh, the Polynesian's too busy. I'm like, yeah, it's too busy. Don't go here.
Yeah, I'm sure that works really well.
Just ignore the Polynesian. It's you don't want to go there. They're doing construction on the pool. It's you don't go to the Polynesian. Yeah.
I do want to
get what you mean.
Just to wrap this up in a nice little bow. I do want to circle back to the cruise for a minute because I know some people are wondering this, and I talked about it on the last podcast. We did get my daughter to go see Hoppers on board, which is where we saw our Canadian friends one last time.
It was so good.
It was great.
My gosh.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Really funny. I don't know if she actually enjoyed it or not. She said she did, but she also had
she did.
She had like a shower push look on her face the entire time we were there. But who knows? I don't know. Maybe she loved it. Maybe she didn't. But we did see our Canadian friends there one more time, which was nice. So I want to just like say this though, as far as, and Karen, you're not prepared for this, but I'm going to do this anyway. Things I liked better on the Fantasy than the Treasure were, I think, the non-IP bars and the fact that the adult areas were all together in one place. Things I liked less on the Fantasy than the Treasure. The Treasure, to me, the buffet is too small on the Fantasy. The buffet is way better to me on the Treasure, as is the pool deck food. I think is also better on the Treasure. But I don't know what your thoughts are, but that's what I was thinking. I think Marceline's Market is better than Cabana's. Cabana's is a little too small to me. What do you think here?
This is challenging. Thanks for putting me on the spot.
That's what we do here.
I love it.
I would say the overall feel of the Fantasy I actually liked better. I understand why people love this ship.
Yeah.
I got this comfy, cozy, comfortable feeling when I was there. I felt like I could find where I was going a lot easier, believe it or not. But it's hard though, because I do think it's apples and oranges. If
the vibes are better, the vibes are better. Like you can say that.
Yeah. I also personally liked the food better on the Fantasy. The dinner choices, I was in love with all of my food. There were some people on a Facebook group that we were on that were talking about they didn't like the food, and I have absolutely no idea how they felt that way. I mean, granted, I eat everything and anything, but it was so good. I think I did like, though, the bars in the Treasure just because I love those rides. You know,
the bars
I love
the
the Haunted
so cool.
Mansion.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't deny they're the coolest.
But ultimately, though, like I would gladly go on either one. I'm so excited that we're going to go on the Wonder, so we have another one under our belt next year. And I just honestly, Tom and I even joked earlier, we wish we could book another one right now.
Yeah, it's a little addicting, Trevor. Be happy you're not doing it.
I get what you mean. Like I even though, you're right. I'm not going to get on a cruise anytime soon, but I see where the appeal comes in everything you've been describing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up with my wife, Karen here. Karen, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Karen,
guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I joked with her. I was like, oh, maybe you'll actually listen to an episode of the podcast for once.
Wow.
Harsh.
I promise I'm not that bad of a wife, guys. I just hear him talk about it all the
she's
time.
tired of hearing me talk. That's really all it is. She's tired of hearing my voice in general.
I don't listen to our podcast either because I don't want to hear myself talk. So
Nor do I.
I get that. Neither do you, Tom. So don't even.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, thanks, Karen.
Bye, everyone.
All right, so that was my trip, Trevor. So we got a few other things to talk about since stuff happened while I was gone. So let's do our ad.
This week, our sponsor is DVC Rental Store. DVC Rental Store is a keyholder vacations company that offers magical vacations at an incredible value. Save up to 60% off retail rates at premium Disney resorts. DVC Rental Store now includes deposits as low as 25% at the time of booking and a built-in cancellation policy for every reservation. And as always, DVC Rental Store pays out the most to members looking to rent their points. Want to learn more? Go to dvcrentalstore.com/welcome home or call 1-855-DVC-RENT. That's 382-7368. And when you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you. Okay.
I promise you I wasn't smart enough to do a nice transition from our ad into this DVC news. I didn't do this on purpose, but
yeah, I mean, we have a little bit of DVC news here, and to be fair, this is a bit late, just because of the timing of Tom being on his trip and everything. But I think it's still fair that we at least cover it. That
I feel like we have to.
Yeah. So Disney Vacation Club did expand the terminology around their commercial use policy, and they've actually put some formalization behind penalties for people who violate it. Now, we've talked about this on Discord because we have a great group of people on Discord that love getting into these conversations. And I think the conclusion that we came to, I'll start from the general sentiment of this is that if you're doing a whole bunch of reservations with your DVC points and you're not actually using them, Disney is going to start looking at that and going, if you have this DVC contract, but you're never actually booking stays for yourself, or it's always for somebody else, they're going to start flagging that, and they're going to start looking at limiting your ability to do more with your DVC points. So things as far as like, they could stop you from doing online booking. They could stop you from being able to
reservations to only your name of the owner.
Your home resort. Yeah. So like you can only do home resort. They may even go so far as canceling future reservations, removing the ability to modify reservations and stuff. Because the thing about this policy is that when you read it like, for most of us, like, even if you're renting points, you're not like in a year, you're not booking like 20 rental trips. Like, it's like you rent out your points once a year, but then, even if it's like, this year I rented out my points, but then next year I'm using my points, they're not coming after people for that. Also, I did see in the wording of this new policy that they still do account for the fact that people do use brokers. So, talking about our sponsor of the show, and I know there's other places out there that do rentals as well. You're not going to get penalized for using a broker because the broker doesn't actually like take your points and own them. They're just connecting you with another person to rent out your points to them, which, like I said, again, if you have enough points that, they can very clearly see a pattern of like, you're using this for commercial use, meaning that, there are people that have been booking Disney or, DVC resorts just for the sake of you buy a contract and then renting it out over so many years technically is profitable. And, I could see people, making that into, a side hustle or something like that. But Disney is trying to really lock that down. And I think this policy is really good for us, because my hope with it is that you'll see less of those. And I know, like, you and I have both seen this at various points, Tom, like not with us specifically, but we've seen a lot of the general sentiment in the community, and, you know, people trying to book certain things. It's like, hey, I can't get this resort for one night. What's going on? And then it's like, you can tell that it's like, or like there's like a section of days that are clearly blocked out. And it's like, even at 11 months, you should be able to find availability, like even for your home resort. Like there's some resorts where it's like, you can struggle to even find 11-month bookings because people are getting in there and doing things like walking reservations. That's where the part about, you know, constantly modifying reservations comes in, is that if they see that, you know, somebody's constantly walking a reservation, I can see them trying to be like, hey, no, don't do that. Right. Like,
these are hard things to police, though, right? Like,
But the reason that they put the verbiage around it is that it gives them a platform to actually, like, they're not going to go and like do a wide scan, but if like there's a person that they need to focus in on, this gives them something to say, hey, this is the policy. You know this, right?
Yeah. And so just to be clear, like, DVC is okay with us renting out our points, right? Like, that's allowed. Perfectly allowed, and they're totally fine with it. They are fine with us having that flexibility. This is, if you're renting out 20 or more per year, and the majority are used by somebody other than you, or there's overlapping dates, or there's, you know, like, there's all sorts of things. Like, this is not going to impact you as a personal owner renting out your points. You can still rent out your points. You can still rent points. There is nothing stopping you from doing that, and there are no problems with doing so. This is just, like you just said, it codifies they're trying to stop the people that are doing this as a business.
Yeah, and I found this part because I saw this earlier, and I was trying to find it here as I was talking. They have the very specific verbiage around this that says commercial purposes includes a pattern of rental activity or other occupancy by an owner other than DVD and its affiliates, that the board and or Disney Vacation Club Management, LLC, the management company, in its reasonable discretion could conclude constitutes a commercial enterprise or practice. So again, they're not just like, this isn't like a blanket thing where it's like, oh, you've rented out your points 20 times and now we're going to come get you. It's like, they're looking at patterns. They're looking at behaviors from certain people that, you know, it's pretty obvious when it's like, you can look at, you know, across Disney, you know, DVC contracts, and it's like, hey, this guy's, you know, he's booking something every 6 months, or he's booking something like every 3 months, and he's got a ton of points, but, you know, when they look further into it, it's never him, right? Like, you know, they can start zeroing on these people that, you know, it's very clear that they bought a bunch of points at some point, or they managed to get together, you know, multiple contracts, and there's very clear intent to rent them out, right? So again, for anybody listening to this and going like, oh my gosh, like, you know, Disney's, you know, cracking down and we can't have, you know, no fun allowed, you know,
no, that's definitely not the case.
Yeah. That is not what's happening here. So I get why they did it, and I get why, you know, I'm glad that they put at least a frame around it that, you know, I don't see anybody who is using DVC in a common practice, which I feel like is the vast majority of, you know, people listening to the show, you know, ourselves.
I would hope so.
You know, that you're not dealing with like 2,000 plus points, but using them outside of your family, I guess, is the thing. Like, I guess if you got thousands of points, which I know some of our listeners do, but they use them for their family. Like, and this also isn't even like, you know, hey, you know, you can kind of draw the lines to where it's like, oh, you know, somebody has a DVC contract, but they're always like, you know, letting their brother-in-law use it and stuff like that. Like, you can kind of figure out those patterns from everything they're talking about here. It's not meant to just like arbitrarily penalize people. It's meant to give them the ability to zero in on, you know, you guys are kind of, you know, some of you are unfortunately, taking the nice thing and you're abusing it.
Yeah.
And, this is why we can't have nice things.
This is why we can't have nice things. Always because of the people that abuse them. So listen, I don't think that this is a huge deal as far as like impacting regular members. The only people that should be sweating this are the people that are, operating large companies renting out points.
I think if you're concerned about this, that you're renting out your points a bunch. And I mean, come on.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm not the one that I feel, I guess if you want to justify it, fine, but I'm not the person you should justify it to, because I just want to use my points for my vacation and to enjoy myself. I have no problem
renting out points. Like rent out points, whatever. Yeah, I've rented out points. I'm going to do it again. It's, Yeah,
exactly.
Anyway.
All right, so let's move on to some fun stuff, because we also had a great announcement this week that Big Thunder Mountain opens back up on May 3rd.
So that's just a couple weeks here.
Yeah,
that's exciting news.
Yeah,
brand new track. All the effects are fixed. There's going to be new effects. I'm so excited.
Yeah, the first the Rainbow Cavern that you go into, I'm very curious how that's going to. Yeah, I feel it's a very overlooked element of the ride, because it happens very fast at the beginning of the ride, but there's a lot of cool things happening in that cave that people don't necessarily realize. They're trying to showcase them here in some of the concept art, that it's like I feel like it's going to be brighter and more obvious what's going on in there, because you couldn't see some of the effects at certain points. Like,
no, for sure.
Yeah.
I still can't get over the Barnabas T. Bullion. That is Tony Baxter. And if he doesn't have this hanging in his house somewhere, like I want this on a shirt. I just love this picture. It's hilarious. And I also just appreciate the fact that they are honoring the Imagineer who designed it. I just think that's really cool.
And it also has a connection back to the adventure, or what is it called?
The Society of Explorers and Adventurers. Yeah.
Yes.
It does. And this isn't the first time that they've done this. They did this with Joe Rody on one of the versions of Tower of Terror is a version of him.
Yeah. I think it's the one in Tokyo Disney.
Yeah.
So
it's a really also kind of a really funny picture like that. It's very similar. I just love that they did that. Every time I see it, it gives me a good smile.
Now, the one thing about this about Big Thunder finally opening up, and this is, I'm torn. Or you know what? Maybe I'm overthinking this. Probably. So when they redid the finale in Disneyland, I made sure that I didn't watch anything about it beforehand, because I wanted to witness it firsthand myself. Because the final lift hill in Disneyland is way better than the one in Disney World, and I'm hoping that that with all the updates and everything, that either they have the same finale or something similar to it, which it was very cool with how they they tried to do it, or it's not as effective in Disney World. And again, it's just because it was it's been around a lot longer and whatnot. The exploding barrels and everything are super cool, and I'm conflicted if I should wait until the next time that I go, watch it is going to be a while, or if I just go and watch it on YouTube. And I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided.
There were two interesting things to me in this announcement, Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
One, of course, the open date, right? But the second one is that it's reopening with a lowered height requirement.
Yeah. But
which is really, I can't remember them ever lowering a height requirement like that. Like it's now going to be 38 inches.
Yeah. It went from 40 to 38. So it's come down 2 inches, which I mean,
listen, for a lot of kids,
huge for kids.
Yeah. I mean,
Now, I have to wonder if, like, you're right. I don't know a lot of the background on this, but I know, like, the height requirements kind of came from, like, is it OSHA, or it's one of those, like, it's a safety thing. Like, it's not that Disney's just, like, arbitrarily deciding these things. They have to go through, like, safety approvals.
They do, don't they? I mean,
yeah, the thing that I guess what I'm wondering, like, it doesn't look like the cars themselves have had any major changes to them. Like, it's still the single lap bar. It's still the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if maybe they changed the restraint, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, but I wonder if maybe just the, with the reevaluation of the requirements that, maybe they just realized that, for that type of restraint, they didn't have to keep it at 40. And maybe it's one of these things where, Disney got it certified at a certain point and they may have erred on the side of caution, where they were like, probably, yeah, this is recommended to be between 36 and 38. We'll just go to 40 just to make sure. And maybe when they re-looked at it, it was like, oh, it could actually be, 38 is still within the acceptable window. That's speculation. I don't know if that's,
I hope
correct,
that's the case, yeah. And it's not that they toned it down a little bit, right? Because, like,
I don't see how you could. Like,
I mean, they replaced the entire track, though. I mean, like, it's all brand new track. Yeah.
But it's not like it has brakes. Like, it's.
Listen, I'm with you. But it's, part of and the reason I'm saying that is because, to me, part of what I love about that ride, you're not going that fast, but it feels so out of control, and it feels like at any point that you could go flying off the tracks. Like that, and that's the charm of Big Thunder, I feel like. And hopefully we don't I don't think we would lose that. I think they understand that that's part of it, and I don't think that would, that they would lower the require. I don't think that's that important to them to lose, like, the soul of the ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, because, like, the ride itself fundamentally hasn't changed. Like the track, even though, yes, you're right, they replaced, like, pieces of the track.
No, they replaced the whole track. The whole track.
Sorry, but I say, like, it, like, they took pieces out, but it's still following the same paths. It's still the same ride. Like, it's going the same way. So, like, I don't see how, like, them replacing the track could all of a sudden make it feel like, when you dip down underneath the rock, like, it looks like you're going towards a rock and you dip down. It's like, I don't see that suddenly becoming smoother. And I guess that's the other thing too, is it's like, maybe part of it is the way that the trains themselves are on the, like, maybe it's not the track itself, but maybe there's something else to the trains that, underneath or something that we're not seeing.
Yeah. I don't know. I really hope that they don't. I mean, I don't know. I hope they don't change that part of it. I don't think they will. I don't think they are. I think they just reevaluated the safety and are fine. Yeah, they realized they could do it at 30. But this is great for kids, though, that are right on that edge. Like, now they're going to be able to ride this ride, and I'm happy for them, because this is, to me, I mean, it's my favorite Disney ride, and always probably will be. I just love it for so many reasons, and I'm so excited it's reopening, and it's gotten a new paint job and is looking as good as it's been. I mean, they redid this entire ride. This was a complete total redo. They ripped down some of the boulders and redid them. I mean, they did a lot of work. So
now the only downside of the fact that they've lowered the height requirement is exactly what you're saying, is
more people on it.
More people are going to be able to ride this ride, which means that it'll have.
You're right. I hate
wait times.
Raise it back up again. Make it 48 inches.
48. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Now, I was kind of hoping they changed the lap bar situation, because, usually the problem in my family is that, I'm a little bit larger than my wife. And so the lap bar basically sits like 6 inches from my wife. And she, like, is going to fly out of the ride all the time because the lap bar doesn't go all the way down. It would be nice if they went to the individual ones. I think that's a little bit, but, it is what it is. It's fine.
Yeah. You should just have a good old fashioned seatbelt,
There you go. Yeah. Seatbelt. All right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I'm excited for that. Good. It's going to be great. So I put this Star Wars stuff on here, Trevor, because there's some more May the 4th merch, and one of the things on here
I'm trying to. Okay. So the very first thing I saw was this C3PO popcorn bucket
with light up eyes,
which is it's a severed head of a droid that you're carrying around.
I'm actually kind of surprised it took them this long to do this, because I think this is amazing. I kind of love it.
Sorry, they clearly delineate as well that it's not C3PO. It's a salvage protocol droid bucket. Yeah. So it's a generic protocol droid. It's not 3PO. Yeah, but no, I mean, every protocol droid looks like 3PO. So,
but it is. Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it is. But I think it's cool, man. I think it's kind of hilarious, actually. I love it. I just think it's a neat design.
Yeah, it is very cool. The light up eyes are very haunting for sure.
A little bit.
This is something I would like. It would be back in the hotel room. And I would fall asleep and I would wake up and scare myself in the middle of the night because it's staring at me.
Its eyes lit up even though you didn't turn them on.
For some reason they were on and I didn't realize it. And
that's funny. There's also a Bantha sipper with built-in sound effects. Okay, I don't really know if I want to drink out of a Bantha, but okay.
It's a choice. Yeah. And then the lightsaber swizzle sticks are kind of funny, but I kind of like that though. Those are fun. Those have been around though. I don't think that's a new thing, right? They're not. I don't know if I've seen them before.
I feel like I've seen lightsabers that like go into drinks, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But I really want to talk about this DJ R3X mug.
Rex. His name is Rex.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
DJ Rex.
I'm losing my mind.
Yeah. But it kind of looks like a tiki room mug almost.
That's what it is. It's a tiki room mug.
But they say it's at Oga, so it's not specifically like tiki room, but it has a very similar vibe to it.
Yeah, the DJ Rex thing is I just think it's cool that they're doing that. I can't believe I just read that way. I clearly it's been a long
R3X. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like unless you knew Rex from original Star Tours, like a lot of people, I know, but Rex was quite a long time ago. So
I do. I just brain no work.
That's fair.
But listen, this is a cool looking mug. I would get this. This is very cool.
Yeah. I like it for sure.
Also, Jabba's sail barge bucket is a popcorn bucket, right? So light up elements and hidden characters. What?
Cool looking, but I still want the protocol droid bucket.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see. I thought you were creeped out by the protocol droid one. I think it's awesome.
But I would still take that over this Jabba one.
The Jabba one's kind of just boring because it's just like all brown and like. Also, I'm not carrying that around.
It looks very cumbersome with the sails on the top and everything.
Yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna. I would. Yeah. The problem with this is that looking at the way that the strap and everything is on it, I'm sitting down on like Little Mermaid or something, and this thing is stabbing me in the side when I sit down.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah. Because of that, I would take a protocol droid bucket over this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a couple other things on here too. There's what else is here? It's a Endor mug. There's a couple tumblers that are kind of basic.
Yeah. I don't think the rest of it really needs to be talked about.
I really
in
just
detail.
wanted to talk about the popcorn bucket. The
3PO one, like I said, the eyes are like they're staring into my soul as I'm looking at it, but it's still a cool popcorn bucket.
I agree.
We got a couple more things here. We've been at this for quite some time, and I know you're running out of steam. So
for sure.
Real quick, so Olaf, we've seen lots of videos of Olaf at Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
It sounds like the intention is that you will actually see Olaf coming to the North American parks and the cruise lines as well.
Which,
so
it's something I've been complaining about for a while, is that all of the Asian parks get all the cool things. And that's why I put this on here, because we're actually, and also Disneyland Paris too, they get all the cool things. We're actually going to get this eventually. We're going to have Robot Olaf. Here's the thing. And if you watched any of the Imagineering stuff, videos around this, they can mass produce these things through 3D printing now so quickly that it's like they could make a ton of these, and send them all over the world, right?
I'm just envisioning that episode of The Simpsons where they go to Itchy and Scratchy Land. And there's hundreds.
There's an army of Olafs attacking guests, throwing his carrot nose as a weapon. Listen, I know, I get that. But they also mentioned, by the way, in this article, that at the Lion King expansion at Disney Adventure World, they may also have lion robots, and they also mentioned the possibility of a robot Sven. So, yeah. So, right. I mean, we're talking full-on walking robots. And listen, they've done that before, right? I always go back to Lucky. If you know about Lucky, Lucky was one of the first, out there, and it was, so it's not the first time they would have a walking animatronic walking around the park. That's that large. Olaf's a little different. He's got 2 legs. You're talking about a big thing like Sven. I mean, that's some pretty heavy duty technology to do that, right? Like, that's not an easy thing to do.
I feel like Sven, to me, as an animatronic, would be very similar to Toothless in Epic Universe. So they have, like what you're talking about, like there is a meet and greet with Toothless and Hiccup. From How to Train Your Dragon.
He doesn't walk around though, right?
He does. Yeah. Toothless doesn't, but he's like in an area. But he is a very, amazingly detailed, like life-size animatronic. So, I could see them doing something like that. I could see it being like a meet and greet where it's like, you're meeting with Sven and Kristoff or something like that. That's what I think is going to happen. I don't think it'll be like. I know that they're kind of lumping it in with the free roaming Olaf. But I don't think you'll see a free roaming Sven the same way you see a free roaming Olaf.
I mean, they're calling them walking robots, though. They're saying they're going to build more walking robots. So
yeah, I know, but I feel like the logistics of it, they'll still try and limit it to, like, he may be like freestanding, but it'll be him in a closed area, not just wandering around the park.
Yeah. I think their biggest concern at this point is that someone's going to hug Olaf and then just run off with him. Honestly, like, that's like, they kind of said that, actually. They said he's so popular that we have to ensure, both from a security perspective as well as an operational one, that we can ease him into the park. So
yeah, I feel like you would have to be the boldest person to think that you could get out of a Disney park carrying Olaf. Like, you can't run fast enough.
Yeah, and have nobody notice. Yeah,
well, that's what I mean. Is that, like, even if you picked him up and started running, and
you're not going to get far.
And the handlers, like, that in the immediate area, like, didn't react fast enough, you don't know how many people there are between you and the gate. That, like.
I'm just thinking to myself, they should program into Olaf like a fake self-destruct sequence. Olaf will self-destruct in 10, 9, like, if he's getting carried off property.
I'm going to cite a sci-fi horror movie that I don't know if, or all I can picture is was it Donald Glover? No, not Donald Glover. What's his name? Donald Sutherland. Sorry. Different Donald. Yeah. It's like Donald something.
Very different Donalds. Yes.
Yeah. Very different Donald. But Donald Sutherland in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where I just have the vision of him, like, shrieking and pointing. And I could see, like, Olaf doing the, like, Olaf just letting out, like, this high-pitched shriek.
Yeah. That's, I'm just like, I think that would be really kind of funny if they did that. But yeah, listen, this is all great stuff. I'm excited for this. Yep. Bring it here.
Yes.
So,
and
last but not
least thing, and I knew you were going to put this on here, and we can't avoid it. I know. Okay. So Okay, so Air Canada, I'm going to lean into this with, this is sponsored by Air Canada, which is one of our prevalent
Great
airline in you know, as it says, it's Air Canada. It's not my favorite. I fly WestJet, but that's because WestJet's actually local to where I live. But Air Canada is hosting they're relabeling refreshment port to La Poutinerie.
Which, listen,
so
you already get most of the poutine that they offer at the refreshment point, but not much is changing other than the theme and the sponsor, right?
Yeah, but so here's my only thing: is it better be La Poutinerie and not La Loaded Fries that kind of passes as poutine. Like, so this is my thing: if Air Canada is doing this. Yeah. And it is, being properly represented. Don't give me there are let me say this first. There are lots of variations on poutine. You get them up here, you can get all the extra, you can do the pulled pork, you can do all these crazy different ones, but fries, gravy, and cheese curds are there in some capacity. When they start I've seen people label things as poutine where it's there is no fries, there is no cheese curds, there is no gravy. Don't call it that, right? Yeah. And so if I'm going to La Poutinerie, I'm expecting them to hold a certain standard to it. Well, that's
a sponsor, they should have some sway there, right? I mean,
absolutely, yeah. So, Air Canada, they'd better bring it. Just saying.
I had to say this: the description that Air Canada put out does not make me feel confident that they're going to do that, Trevor, because it says a taste of Canada at Epcot. La Poutinerie, hosted by Air Canada, brings a Canadian classic with a twist. The twist part is where
there's no cheese curds or
that's what I'm saying. They leave that open to be okay, well, it doesn't have to be poutine; it can be a twist on poutine. But to your point, though, I listen. I'm just saying that all they're doing is theming a little bit more with Canada, and and then they're gonna. I mean, the poutine that you buy is already there. It's already there.
Yeah, it makes sense because it is literally right next to the Canada Pavilion. It doesn't hurt that they're, it's clearly now sponsored by a Canadian company, and. They can lean in on it a little bit more. And I guess, with the name being there, I feel like they should be able to give you what you expect to get from that. Because like I said, a lot of other booths, I feel they, people do, and sorry that this is just me and my hang up with it is, people try to get too bougie with it and they try to be oh, this is, revolutionary. You lost poutine as soon as you started ditching. It's 3 ingredients. Yeah. And as soon as you start ditching those ingredients, you've lost it.
I get it.
You can add to it. It's an additive thing. I've had various forms of poutine where it's they put stuff on top. Pulled pork poutine is good. I enjoy that one. There's other variations of it that I've seen, but I still, the base is still fries, cheese curds, and gravy. It's not hard. It's really not. That's my problem. Is it's come on, guys, it's not hard. And if Air Canada messes it up, I will stand there and disapprovingly look at them and go, really?
How dare you? Now the Canada Pavilion though extends further out now, basically. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Eventually, we'll take over the Imagination Pavilion.
Oh, that's funny. All right, let's wrap this up. It's been a long one.
Yeah, this has been a very long episode, but I'm glad that we did it. I'm glad that you guys.
I somehow still have a voice. I'm shocked. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm glad Karen was able to come on and you guys were able to share your trip, and glad even in spite of weather and all that, I think we say this all the time is that being at Disney for bad weather is still better than being anywhere else. So
agreed. Listen, the weather did not deter us. We still had a great time. I was sick for the whole Vero Beach part, and that still did not deter us. I still had a great time despite being miserably sick. So yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, and glad that you guys are looking forward to the next one, because like you said, it sounds like it's a very addictive thing, and
it is.
I don't want to say never, but I don't know that we'll get on a cruise. I would like to, after listening to you guys talk about it, I would really like to at some point, but I also don't want to make my wife miserable by doing so.
I think you guys could do it. I see people with all the stuff on, and I think there's ways, and if you go to different parts of the ship, it's not nearly as bad.
Right.
We were in the absolute worst spot for bad seas, so that's really a big part of it. So anyway, let's wrap it up.
Anyway, so I guess we'll start wrapping this up here. So after everything that we talked about on the show, if you have your own questions, or if you want to share your own trip reports or anything like that, you can always find us at our email address, which is welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. You can also reach us through our website, which is welcomehomepodcast.co. And you can, you can reach us, or you can contact us through there. And also, the website is also a great way to check out the episodes. I guess if you're listening to this, you've found us already, but we do have links to the episodes and the store and all that kind of stuff on the website. So check that out. But also outside of the website, we are on social media. So if you want to find us on Facebook, you can find us there as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on YouTube as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. And if you want to help support the show, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.co. Like I said, it's also from the website. You can link to the store there, or you can go straight to the store. We got lots of great stuff on there, including hats. If you haven't, if you've been out of the loop for a bit, we do have hats now. You can get them on the store. If there's something that you see or that you would like to see on the store, you can also drop us a line and let us know. We have the ability to add more stuff to the store. So, just let us know if there's something missing from there that you would like to order. We'll definitely work with you on that one. And then also, if you want to help support us through Patreon, you can find us on patreon.com/welcomehomepod. Our Patreon supporters get an exclusive logo that you can only get on Patreon. And anyone who supports us through Patreon also gets access to the Discord server, which, as we talked about earlier in the show, we have lots of great conversations on there. There's actually sometimes previews of stuff from upcoming shows that happen there, and just a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
I shared a private photo from my vacation that Trevor turned into a emote on a.
I had to turn that into an emote because it was. I'm glad you did. I think it's perfect. It was awesome. If you're wondering what we're talking about, that's on the Discord, and check that out. And last but not least, if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify or anywhere you can leave us a 5-star review, please do so. It just helps. It helps other people like yourself find the show, and we just want to get it out there to more people. And also, if you want to let us know what you think about the show, you can write us a review on iTunes and just tell us how you think we're doing.
Yeah, and also just tell your friends, right? I think that's the best way to find podcasts.
Yeah.
Hey, I listen to this awesome podcast. You should check it out too. So. Don't forget to subscribe. That's the other way you can do it, right? Subscribing, that's important too. So you can be reminded every time we release an episode. You can find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Spotify, YouTube Music, just about any podcast app that's out there. You can find us. A huge thank you to our sponsor, DVC Rental Store, for sponsoring this episode. And of course, Keyholder Vacations for, just being our friends for a long time, even when they were Worlds of DVC, and then before that, just DVC Resale. They've been through a bunch of names, but they've been with us for forever now. So please check them out. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC. To a house when we had a chair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I look around for all the holes, found her in her sugar bowl.